Hello and welcome to the Perth Blue Baggers pod. My name is Louis, your host.
And I'm Marty on special comments.
So again, we have to review another second half fade out fueled game. It's getting very repetitive for us to speak about it, but I think we're going to get real deep today discussing this issue. It's going to be a big one.
Well, it's hard to really put into words the utter debacle which occurred in the second half of Sunday. I thought we'd seen the worst of Carlton on opening round when we somehow managed to concede 75 points in a quarter. This time we considered 88 points and a half. They were 1 goal 6-12 at half time, and they managed to win the game. We blew a 42-point lead, but those stats just don't really describe how bad we were. In the end, the result wasn't even close. Instead we blew a 42-point lead, we lost by 4 goals. We
So you lost that and plus 20, it's like 60.
Yeah, we just got absolutely overrun. It was a walkover. And honestly, rarely will you see a team so devoid of confidence.
Yeah.
A VFL team, a waffle team, an amateur team maybe will beat you if you have no confidence.
Yeah.
And they had zero confidence. This was evident everywhere. Dropped marks, mixed kicks, even when we'd taken a mark. So, it's no pressure on you.
Yeah.
Really poor choices. The amount of hospital hand passes to people that you shouldn't have been. The old dump kicks are back in town, back with a vengeance. Just slam it on the boot, even when you.
And you know what's funny? They miss it on the boot too sometimes.
Oh, that's right.
Even when they try and do that.
But in defence, we just went back to the old dump kicks thing again.
Yeah.
And the amount of time I saw that, shocking. Complete lack of structure. No game plan that was evident at all in the second half, and that's on the coach and the coaching team. I mean, they've got a whole team to do this. So what are they actually doing? Because I couldn't see any game plan in the second half.
It's Voss's 5th year, and this has been, this fade-out issue has been a regular occurrence in these last 5 years. Goodness knows how many times. I haven't got the stats for that. I should have got that earlier, but even in wins, we've faded at times.
Well, I want to go back to the confidence thing.
Yeah.
How many times in that entire second half did you see one of our boys take the game on? So, actually run with the football, cut through the lines, link up there, move the ball quickly, hit targets, keep it moving. Like, we just lost all run as well. So we're making all these basic skill errors, we're panicking, and we just lost all run as well.
Yeah.
Right? And the backwards and sideways kicks, they're being terrified of turning the ball over. You could just see that in there.
Yeah.
If I had to pick out one thing, though, perhaps the most disappointing thing was the missed tackles.
Oh.
There's so many of them. So many of them. Even if you lack confidence with the ball, and I can see how this happens, right? You just, you're panicked, you're terrified of turning the ball over. There's no excuse for not tackling. Surely, no matter what, you can still tackle. The most unskilled player in the league can still tackle.
Yeah.
Right? That's the problem. That to me is effort.
Yeah.
Because there's so many half-baked efforts on the tackling front. Some wags put together a video of missed tackles in the second half.
Carlton Blues fans.
It was a long video.
42 seconds worth.
Right?
Of it.
It was 42 seconds too long. Right? It went on and on and on, and they were embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been embarrassed. I played plenty of amateur football. I was never much of a footballer, right? But at least I could tackle. I couldn't kick the ball to save myself, right?
Same. I think I was also a good
players
tackler.
on $500,000 a year, and they won't tackle. I mean, it's astonishing, really. Sorry to be negative, but honestly, after that match, it's very hard
to fully support.
Well, it's hard to find that many positives, really.
Yeah.
I know we had a good first half, and we did. We did play well in the first half. But we just undid it all by not turning up after half time.
Well, actually, we saw remnants of it creeping in the second quarter. I thought.
That's
I think
true.
we
Actually.
remarked on
That's
that.
true.
Yes,
Actually, the
they just
seeds
didn't
were
capitalise.
there. We were actually lousy for probably a good 10 to 15 minutes in that second quarter.
Yeah.
We were lousy. We were turning the ball over. We lacked our run. We gave them a lot of shots. They weren't taking them. They were 1-6. They could have easily been back in it. I mean, you're right. The warning signs were there in the second quarter. I think you might have kicked some early goals in the second quarter, but
Yeah.
like
We went in with about a 34-point lead at halftime.
I don't think we kicked that much. So we've kicked 2 goals, and they both happened within the first couple of minutes, right? Within the first couple of minutes, and then we didn't kick a goal. We kicked 1 goal, I think. 1 goal in that second quarter, and we kicked it very early on. And honestly, we didn't kick a single goal in the quarter after that, after about the first minute or two.
Yeah.
So yes, the rot probably set in a couple of minutes into the second quarter, really. And I was concerned, but honestly, it was only going to get worse and worse and worse.
And then somehow we managed to get back a little bit of momentum in that fourth quarter.
Well, we kicked a couple of goals.
Yeah. And I thought we might have been learning a little bit from the past, but no.
But then the utter capitulation at the end.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight goals. It was just embarrassing. It was humiliating the last half of the second quarter of the last quarter.
We didn't watch the last few minutes.
Oh, it's just
we had enough.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
So you've got some stats about the utter capitulation that we've been doing in the second half, and it's gone on and on for a long time,
yes, 4 or 5 years now. So this is the halves win and loss. We'll start off with this record since 2022. So we're in the first half, we've won 61, lost 37 and drawn 2. In second halves, we've won 44, lost 55 and drawn 1. So very comprehensive in the first half record. Very, very limited success in the second half. So that sets the context here, right? So Sam Doherty was on Free AW and did some of his analysis, shared some of his analysis. So when Carlton wins contested possession, we win 70% of our games. When good teams like Geelong, Brisbane and Collingwood win contested possessions, they win 70 to 80% of their games. When those good sides lose contested possession counts, they only drop to 50 to 60%. But for us, we have a measly 7% win record when we lose contested possession rates, right? So, which really highlights the importance of winning the contest for us.
But it just shows we're a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
We have contested ball, and if we don't win contested ball, we just collapse. Now, knowing that this is a problem, and it's been a problem for a long time, wouldn't you think that we focus on setting up your setup and structure so that in the event you don't win a contest, we don't get hurt?
Yeah, precisely.
Knowing this is the third game this year out of 3 we've talked about this.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing happening again and again. If we can't win the contest, they just run all over us. Surely, whether it's an extra man behind the ball or whether it's manning up properly or it's whether you defend the space or however you do it, surely you've got to be prepared for when you lose a contest.
Yeah.
And we don't seem to be.
You get way too sucked in, I think.
Well, there's still that. I think that was still a problem. What I saw was interesting in the second quarter is they knew that there were certain contested ball winners like Cripps and Walsh and others and Hewitt. So every time they got their hands on the ball, they were red hot. Right? They got no space to work with, right? And a lot of those guys, none of those guys like Cripps, Hewitt, Walsh, even Smith are in my best 5, right?
Yeah.
And the reason is, in that second half, every time they got their hands on the footy, if they did, they were tackled almost immediately. They just got no space they could not have an impact on that contest.
Okay.
So the contested ball winners, they just couldn't be effective. But I don't want to attack that group of four, because they're the ones that actually do win the ball for us a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's all those other guys that need to step up, right?
Yeah.
And it's the guys that keep turning the ball over. It's the guys that are obviously not doing the two-way running, because if you lose a contest or you turn the ball over, if you get cut to ribbons, it shows your structure's not working, but also shows you're not running back.
Yeah.
That's what it also shows, because you should be able to get numbers back. So it's and look, we've talked about this before. We've got some very good players. You've got a dual Brownlow medalist, and some other guys are really good like Walsh. But then there's a big drop off after that first 5 or 6 players, and it's probably that next band of players which have dropped off badly. And I think when we come to talk about selection, I really think it is time to see some changes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not fair dinkum.
Yeah.
And you cannot have a fade out like that. On top of fade, we'll all forgive players a bad game, but given this is 3 out of 3 now, where we've faded out in the second half, clearly there's got to be some changes made.
Yeah, for sure. And we had Walsh coming out today. This is filmed on Tuesday, literally saying that it's the players are taking onus for it, for their lack of composure and ability to win the contest back.
Well, one of the
So-
criticisms of Voss has been that he has been a bit soft at selection.
Yes.
He tends to just
I
back
agree.
in the same players all the time,
Yeah.
and he doesn't really. There's no repercussions.
Yes. I don't think we've seen one harsh call yet.
I think
There will be an injury.
there's one player. I think Fogarty got dropped.
Oh, yeah.
One player, a small forward.
Yeah.
Right. I can't think of anyone else, and maybe someone will point one out. I'm sure, but very few players. Like, he just doesn't drop many players overall, and I think there's, with a couple of guys that are fit now who've played a couple of games in the Magoos, this is the time and the place.
Yeah, for sure. And then if our failure continues throughout the season, there'll be more and more calls just to play the kids as well. So that might require even more selection integrity. But
Well, if you're saying play the kids at round 4,
yeah,
you're writing off the season.
I'm not for that. Yeah.
No, you don't do play the kids at round 4, unless you're where Essendon is or whatever else. Mind you, maybe we're that bad, but honestly, you really want to see, for the first half of the season, your club having a red hot go at winning games of football.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the play the kids camp. If they're like Jagger and Dean and they've earned their stripes, I think play them.
Yeah, I agree. Some more stats, because why not? Since the start of 2025, no team has led more than Carlton at quarter time, 18 times. Since the start of 2025, no team has lost more than Carlton after leading at halftime, 8 times. So just some more generalising stats there. I think you'll find this one interesting too. So stoppage scoring, where points in quarter 1, points for, we're first in the league. Points against, we're 4th. In quarter 1, turnover scoring, we're 11th for points score and 4th for points against. So we're pretty good at defending as well as attacking there in the first quarter. After quarter time stoppage scoring, we dropped down to 16th after being first in points from stoppage scoring, and against to 12th. Turnovers after quarter time turnover scoring, we're 15th for points for and points against 11th. So that's gets even worse too. So stats don't lie. After quarter time, opposition teams have been able to crack down on our stoppage scoring while finding more ways to through our stoppage and turnover defence. And then without the ability to score regularly from turnover, we slowly lose avenues to the scoreboard, I'd say.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably adding the data around the things that, that's just your evidence that shows the problem we've been talking about. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay. Players.
Look, I really struggled. I had one obvious one for me, and then I really struggled after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking for players that stood up the whole game, not just guys that had a nice first half, nor just guys that might have got their hands on the footy, but didn't use it that effectively. And that's why I struggled. So, Wiedering, I thought, was outstanding the whole game. And, this was a typical Jacob Wiedering game where wave after wave of attack after half time and even in second quarter. And he's just a smart footballer. He's one of those guys that does have composure when not many others do. He doesn't tend to make many errors. Doesn't tend to have a bad game. And this was one of those examples where he did, he got that fist there. He, took a couple of saving marks. He was...
kept Mychek relatively quiet.
Relatively quiet. I think he got a late goal or something. But I didn't think Mychek had an influence.
No.
And Wiedering also did his best to try and support the other backs as he could. I think the sad thing for Wiedering is he's getting on a little bit now, and he's played in so many rubbish teams for Carlton, and I feel for him because this is looking like another one of those seasons where he throws everything at it. He plays a great game, and he just watches too many of his teammates not perform around him.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
just like
that's my fans. 5.
Yep. So he had 17 disposals, 6 marks, 3 of which were intercept marks, 6 ground balls, 11 intercepts, and 4 1%ers. Okay, so me for 5 votes, I've got Elijah Hollins. He had 25 disposals, 80% disposal efficiency, 4 intercepts, 7 score involvements, 2 goals, 9 ground balls. He was the highest rated blue and second highest overall according to AFL player ratings. And he got 1 coach's vote, the only blue to get a coach's vote. So I think that warranted. I know he lacked the disposal efficiency in the second half, but at least he tried, unlike others.
Yeah, I didn't have my votes for that reason. I just didn't feel that he had... I know he kicked a very helpful goal, actually, early in the fourth, I think.
Yeah.
And he kicked a nice goal in the first quarter, I think, or early second. And he did some good things early, especially. But I didn't... And I think he was quite influential in helping set up the game in that first half, or that first... I think we should call it first quarter in a bit, really.
Yeah.
When we played good football. I just didn't feel he had a big impact. I know he got his hands on the footy plenty of times. I think he might have touched it 10 times in the last quarter. But, that fresh air kick and a few other ones that didn't hit the mark. It was... I don't want to single out Elijah, because I think he's actually having a pretty good season.
Yeah.
And he's back to influencing games, and he's a real X factor for us. So he's far from our worst, but just... I just really struggled to find second half players.
Okay. And then for 4 votes for me, Wheaters gets that. For your
my 4 votes goes to Ollie Hollins. I think the thing about Ollie Hollins, at least he's trying.
Yeah.
And look, he didn't have a perfect game. I think he might have missed a few tackles here and there. But one thing you'll always get out of Ollie is effort.
Mm-hmm. And
I think he was pretty consistent. And he's one of those guys that was really throwing himself into the contest, willing himself into the in their second halves against the flow. Doesn't always have success in that, but his commitment to the club and for the 4 quarters is always there.
Yeah, that's fair. So 23 disposals, 9 marks, 87% disposal efficiency. That's pretty good for him. He lacks...
He did turn the ball over again a number of times.
I feel like that was more early than...
He did, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Got a bit more stable.
Yeah, he actually did better later, and that was the inverse of most of the other players, I felt.
Well, yeah. That's a good choice there for 4 votes then. He had 7 intercepts, 414 metres gained, 4 rebound 50s and 4 ground balls.
For 3, I had McGovern. McGovern kicked 3 goals. He was particularly good in the first half. He kicked two lovely goals in the first half and a late goal. In that first quarter and a bit, he was in everything. He was really he was having a blinder. He was having a blinder. He did a lot of useful things. He'll knock it to the advantage of a teammate, or he'll just get his body in the right place to give someone else it. He's a smart footballer when he gets it right, and he got it right in the first half. I didn't think he was as influential in the second half. He did kick a late goal, but he was early in the fourth, I think it was. 3 votes for me.
Yeah, 13 disposals, 85% disposal efficiency, 8 score involvements, 3 goals and 7 ground ball gets. For McGovern, what did I get? 3 for Sam Walsh. 31 disposals, 6 tackles, 6 score involvements, 21 pressure acts, 6 ground balls, and 430 metres gained. I know he didn't have as much impact as you would like. I think his score involvements were only around 3 or 4 maybe. So you would want that. No, hang on. I said 6 score involvement. Clearances, I meant. Clearances. He only had 3 or 4 clearances.
Yeah, okay.
But then do you really need that? It's been played a bit more outside lately.
I'm happy with him playing a bit outside. I mean, we've got some good contested ball winners. He is a genuine runner. He's a spark for the team.
Yeah.
I thought he was good early. He was still in it. He was certainly absolutely in it the whole way through. And he had 10 touches in the last. There was a few guys that did have a few touches in the last. I just didn't, like the others, just didn't feel he was under pressure every time he went near that footy. And that's a sign of the pressure the team was under.
Yes. It's a kudos to Melbourne in that regard, I guess.
Yeah, they did. They really did turn it up.
Yeah.
I had Ollie Florent with 2 votes. He had the most metres gained for the team, and he did get his hands on the ball a fair bit in the second half as well. I think he laid 5 tackles as well, so it's not bad. I think the effort was there, and he was still getting amongst it in the second half.
I agree. He had 17 disposals, 5 tackles, 82% disposal efficiency, 5 intercepts, 21 pressure acts, 501 metres gained, 4 clearances, 6 rebound 50s and 4 ground balls.
And 13 of those 17 touches were in the second half.
Okay, good.
So,
but if he's playing in the defence though, he kind of has a role to play.
He's in the halfback. And I think he was trying to set up attacks.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting to the stage where there's a couple of players here that put effort in, and that's what I wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah, his metres gained, 500 plus metres gained, and 6 rebound and 50 showcased that he was trying to drive off halfback. Really, I'd say. I had 2 votes for Mitch McGovern. We already talked about him, and 1 vote. Who'd you got?
I'm going to go someone quite different. Like I said, I struggled a bit with some of these ones. I'm going to go Lockie Cowan.
Okay, got
Lockie Cowan had a pretty consistent game all the way through, and I think that he is another guy that kept in the contest, etc. So I like him. I'm generally a bit of a fan of Cowan because I think he's an honest backman. He keeps an eye on his man. He doesn't give him easy touches.
Yeah.
He's a team player.
Yes, I agree. So he had 16 disposals, 6 marks, 81% disposal efficiency, 5 intercepts, 4 rebound 50s and 5 ground balls. He was a player that some people were talking about just giving him the axe after 1 game back from
I reckon there's a long queue in front of him.
Yeah, so he silenced doubters today.
Yeah, long queue in front of him. And it's not just the guys that have just come in, although Hudson O'Keefe did have just the 3 touches and was barely seen the whole time, 4 quarters. So you got to wonder what fellow you actually brought in. But generally, I think you'd need to look at the players who have been playing for 2 to 3 games this season, and often mature enough to to be expecting more.
Yes. And then for one vote, I gave Jagger Smith 25 disposals, 4 marks, 7 score involvements, 2 goal assists, 4 inside 50s, 1 ground ball, 1 goal and 7 ground balls. So essentially, we think he was also similar story to Walsh. Really, tried hard in the second half, but was always under pressure, and hence struggled with his efficiency.
Yeah, the thing about Jagger, he'll always give you lots of, he'll always be working hard.
Yeah.
And we're not blaming a player 3 games in for the overall debacle. He's been a godsend since coming into the team.
Yeah.
So he's trying his best. He probably wasn't playing at quite the same height that he played his first 2 games in. But hey, man, you can't complain. He's still getting in your votes.
Yeah.
He's basically, I think, third highest possession winner equal third highest possession winner for us. And he's a 3rd game player.
We'd be glorifying that if he was coming, last year.
I think it says something about the standards
Yeah.
we're starting to expect from guys just started playing footy.
Exactly.
No, I've got a lot of time for Jagger, and he's not the problem.
Yeah, he didn't cause any controversy, really. Any other players? No, there's a few others that... that will do us. What's next on the agenda?
Well, I thought I'd just point out injuries and then maybe ins and outs.
Yep.
Okay. So, Harry Dean got concussed, and that's a shame because he's out for 2 weeks. And whilst he didn't have the best game because he was playing on Fritz, who did get away from him and kick 4 goals in the second half. But Dean, like Jagger, is only playing his 3rd game. He's a really gutsy player. He throws himself into every contest. A lot of the more experienced players could learn a lot off him.
Yeah.
And he's going to be out for the next 2 weeks with concussion. And that's a bit of a shame because I think he was building along nicely. And it's only 2 weeks, he'll be back. But, there's a little bit of a gap there, I think. Cooper Lord, still unwell. He didn't play on the weekend. He's not playing next week.
Got hospitalised, which is quite
That's
serious.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm really sorry to hear that. And another guy I think is coming along, and coming along nicely. And so I think that's a bit of a shame. Zach Williams, who looked crook most of the game.
Is he fit to play?
Apparently he's fit to play. Yeah.
Where was that?
That's what I heard. I heard that he was fit to play.
Okay.
I think around selection, there's absolutely
Sorry, one more player. Cher is available now. That was one.
I was going to sort of come to that, right? So I think it's time for selection integrity, and surely there's a massive players. There are players that are ready to come back.
Yeah.
Right, and so there really isn't an excuse. You can't say the cupboard's bare. So here's some names. Adam Cher is ready to come back in, and surely is playing if he's fit. Right?
We need some defensive.
Nick Newman. Nick Newman is your experienced, composed defender that, God, we could have done with Nick Newman.
Yeah.
So I think he has to come back in.
Yeah.
Nick Haynes has to come back in. He's played a couple of Resi's games now.
Yeah. Newman was the best on ground in the VFL match, and also Nick Haynes was a close second, I think.
Yeah, so I mean Harry Dean's out anyway.
Yeah.
So I think Newman and Haynes come back in. Probably Adam Saab comes back in. He played in the Magoos. So he probably comes back in.
Okay.
I'd like them to think about Flynn Young. He's had now a solid couple of games. He's regularly popped up and kicks goals, and not just that, he's in the mix in the twos. And then one other guy who had it's been stringing a couple of good games together. It might be his time. I think we had 25 odd touches or something.
Yes,
in the twos.
27, I think.
It might be time for Ben Cambrielli to get a go.
Yep.
Not just because you play your kids, but because I think he's done his time and I think he's up to it.
Yeah.
So, and I think you need to make a statement that things are not okay. So there's 6 players I think who could come in.
Yep.
And I tell you what, Well, I bet you they won't play.
They'll
I bet you
never
they don't
do that, but
I'll tell you what, they probably should.
yeah,
After that big a debacle, and the third time in a row we've had a debacle, we probably should actually axe some players and make it. And look, there's plenty here that, I don't want to pot players. It's lots of others have, but I think there's a decent queue
yeah,
of players. And for me, Lockie Cowan's not one of them. He was a bit down the previous week. He was good this week. And he's one of those consistent players that you should have in your best 22.
I agree. Okay, let's go into the preview against North Melbourne, the Good Friday clash.
All right, so I can't tip Colton at the moment.
No.
Because I don't think you can tip them against any team given the complete lack of confidence that they have. I hope they prove me wrong. I'd love them to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And sooner or later they will discover their confidence. I hope it's not when the season's lost. That they start winning games and start building confidence, because they've actually had a run. Richmond, North Melbourne, North Melbourne, Colton, Essendon. They've got a run of teams that they should be beating.
Yeah.
And North is one of those teams that normally we should be beating. I just don't think we've got the confidence to do it at the moment.
Yeah.
But there is actually a strategy, and it's that I think they are weak in their defence, and I think you can hurt them if you on the turnover.
Yeah.
And if we move the ball quickly, we should be able to open them up.
Yeah.
And we've got some offensive weapons. We're not just a straight, Harry and Charlie show now. I mean, Harry's still there, but McGovern's shown a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's a number of other players. What about some of these recruits like Ainsworth and Hayward? Yeah. Ainsworth was pretty good.
Yes.
In parts. I thought Hayward was a bit quiet. But they're out and about. Like I said, someone like Flynn Young could add a bit of value. I think it might be time for the Kemp experiment to be over.
There's one that could get the axe, maybe.
Well, Brody Kemp did not touch the ball in the second half.
Okay, yeah, there you
go. Right?
Yeah.
Not touch the ball in the second half, and had 7 touches for the entire game. So, not writing him off, but a bit of time in the twos might be good to get your form back.
Agreed.
I think that there is an avenue. There is an avenue there for them to get back in and really to break them open. But the danger is, as we know, North Melbourne has a very good midfield.
Yeah.
So let's hope that we can get on top of them in the midfield, because as you just discussed with your stats, our record when we're not winning the contested footy out of the stoppages is not great.
And I tell you, that's exactly how they broke us down in the that last match last year against North.
Yes, that's right. So we've got a point to prove.
Yeah,
we really do have a point to prove here, and I think part of the way I would go about it in terms of this is, for the second half, I'd simply rewrite the script. I would just say, forget about everything's happened before us. You've been practicing all pre-season. You've got your system. You know how to link up. We've been telling everyone to move the ball quickly, to lower the eyes and find targets, to link up effectively. Put into practice what you've been taught to put into practice. And just block out. Let's not even talk about the fade outs, because I think it's playing on their mind. So the more they think about it, the more they dwell on it. It probably doesn't help at this stage.
Walsh, I agree. Walsh made a joke about it. We should run out for banner at half time as well to reset things. But that kind of shows that there's inside jokes about it, maybe even within the team, and that they subconsciously aware of it.
Well, of course they'd be aware of it.
Only fans should be more.
Yeah, but the problem is that, of course the players will be aware of it. How can they not be?
I just don't like.
That's all anyone's talking about. I know what you're saying about the joke, though. It's a bit like there was joking about missing all their targets at the preseason training, right? Well, guess what happened in the second half? We just saw them play like they were training.
Yeah.
So that doesn't look that funny now when they're joking about it.
Yeah, and rightly so. The media's criticising them. And it's been a very harsh week of media criticism. It hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be, actually, to be honest. Maybe because... I don't know, mate. I haven't actually tuned into many Carlton-led content creators lately either. Just because I just don't want to mope about it so much.
I think sometimes you need a mental break.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well with it, because every time I open up my Instagram app, something about Carlton pops up. Whether it's stats or criticism by Matt Lloyd or something like that, calling for us to trade Cripper or something by the end of the year. That was one of the worst
Just
ones
ignore all that crap. Ignore all that noise.
It's clickbait content.
The commentators are just looking for something to commentate on.
And then also they bring up Luke Sayers. Coincidentally.
I saw this rubbish wheel thing of cane corns. It had John Elliott on it. John Elliott hasn't been president for over a quarter of a century. Yet somehow he's got something to do with this. Mate, I was around when he was president. Yes, they did have a salary cap bungle. It was 25 years ago. No one is at the club from that time. Certainly no players are. Like, it's utter crap and irrelevant. And, it's the people involved in the club now who need to take responsibility. And you can't just keep on shooting home these things to Mick Malthouse 10 years ago or something. I mean, this is just nonsense. Get on with it. Chin up. Find some resilience. Get on with it. And let's see the boys turn it around.
Yeah, we genuinely believe that it's a motivation.
It's not motivation. Like, you can't see them with the pressure they're on. They've got all the motivation they need. It's confidence. Yeah, exactly.
So if they string some good second half performances together, maybe it might turn. The tide might turn, but until that happens, we have to keep talking about our second half fade outs. But anyway, I hope we dived into it well. I think we did. We won't be bothered with doing predictions.
No, we'll leave that for now.
Yeah, not this week. Catch you all soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. That would really help. And up the baggers.
Calm the Blues.